And let me show you some other prophecies where Jesus predicts AD 70. Notice, if you will, Matthew 23, verses 37 through 39. Matthew 23, verses 37 through 39. Who's speaking here? It's all in red, so it must be Jesus. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who's he speaking to? The nation of Israel. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those sent to her. How often I have longed to gather. Now that word gather is very interesting. It's the Greek word episunago, where we get the word what? Anybody know? Synagogue. So what is a synagogue? It's a Jewish gathering. So what Jesus is saying is, I wanted to have synagogue with you in my first coming. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, you who kill the prophets and stone those sent to you, how often I have longed to gather your children together as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were unwilling. See, the problem wasn't Christ, the problem was the nation of Israel. Behold, your house is being left to you desolate. What would be the house of God? The temple. Now, isn't it interesting that all the way through the Gospels, Jesus always called the temple his Father's house? Now he no longer says it's my house or my Father's house. It's your house. Why is it your house? Because you drove me out of it. So now it's your responsibility, not mine anymore. Now, you would think that it would be over for Israel, right? But fortunately, we have verse 39 where Jesus says, for I say to you, from now on, you, that's Israel, will not see me until, see, there's a condition. What's the condition? The condition is the nation must respond to the king. For I say to you, from now on, you will not see me until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, which is Psalm 118, verse 26, which is a messianic psalm. And what he's saying is, I am not coming back for this nation until you publicly acknowledge me as your Messiah, is what he's saying. And that's the confusion of Romans 10:9 that everybody wants to use as an evangelistic tract. You know, if we can, what does he say there? If we confess with our mouth and believe in our heart, then we'll be saved. And people say, well, to get saved today, you got to believe in Jesus and make a public confession. But that's in the section dealing with Israel in the book of Romans. Romans 9, Israel elected. Romans 9, Israel in the past elected. Romans 10, Israel in the present rejected. Romans 11, Israel in the future accepted. So Romans 10 is explaining the conversion of Israel in the tribulation period when they will confess Jesus as their Messiah. Romans 10:9 has nothing to do with what you have to do to get saved. The condition to get saved is believe in Christ. Romans 10:9 is explaining the confession of Israel publicly during the tribulation period so he can come back and rescue them from the Antichrist, so he can set up his kingdom through them. That's what Jesus here is speaking of.